All right, y'all, we out here once again trying to get 3 degrees buffer. It's Ngoni Uncle Corey Johnson. I hope you enjoy the video. We're going to get right down into this thing. Now, today in my class, a student asked a question about mission. We're talking about theological framework, design, and how it kind of works. And the question was, with the different ways that we can interpret things, and there was a quote that was put up on the board that prompted this. The different ways that we can interpret things makes it difficult for us to know what is it, or if there is or should be a consistent idea, like a cookie cutter framework for how we do mission or how we reach other people. And the comment that accompanied the question was that it might be easier if there was a cookie cutter framework, something that we could follow, because then everybody knows that we're all doing it right. Now, my immediate response or thought went to something I've talked about on a number of occasions now, a worship thought I've given on my experience in Palau, returning as the Bible teacher, going and thinking that I knew exactly what I wanted to teach, having my perfect lesson plans, and having it completely thrown upside down, and realizing ultimately that I needed to learn the students to find a way to reach them with the gospel. I believe that the answer to this question should be considered in the same way. I do not believe that there's a cookie cutter way to reach other people. I don't believe that we learn a certain format and certain steps, and if we go and do that, we're going to be successful every time in reaching people. I don't believe that. I do believe that we get principles, we get ideas, we get theories, we get things we can practice, right? And I think that's the smallest percentage of what we need to learn if we're going to be impactful in reaching other people. See, I think a lot of times when it comes to school and education, we put this knowledge and the acquisition of knowledge at 90%, and we don't think about the little 10% that we're considering actually putting this into practice, because in my mind, if I know the right things, I should be able to say it and get the right response, regardless of wherever I go. But there's freaking 8 billion people in this world, which means there's 8 billion different ways of thinking. No two people are the same. Even twins and triplets and quadruplets and all of them, they're not completely the same in the way that they think, in the way that they relate to the world. Everyone is different. But here's the thing. The easy way would be if there was a one-size-fits-all Christianity, a perfect program, or the 7-step process that I can use to reach and convert everyone, and that's what I use. And then I go around using that plan and selling that because it's so effective. And on this note, I'm going to divert a little bit, because I've seen a lot of books that Christians put out about how to convert people and how to make people decide certain things and how to convince them, and all these different tricks and tactics and psychology and all this different stuff you can use, which honestly sounds like pickup artists for Christianity. I said it. And it's like, yeah, we can play the game and play on people's psychological things and all that kind of stuff. Or we can actually just get to know people, see what their stories are, see where they're coming from, and relate the message and the good news that we have to their experience. It should never be a thing where I come in with this plan to just change people's minds and make them believe what I do. And if they don't, well, then screw them, because they had a chance and they missed it. Am I coming in just for the sake of numbers, or am I coming in to try and make someone else's life a better experience? If I am, I need to know their experience first. I can't make someone's experience better if I don't know anything about it. And a lot of times Christianity will come in, or different religions will come in and say, hey, we're going to kill you if you don't adapt and switch to this belief system. F everything about your life. F everything about your culture and your traditions. That stuff doesn't matter. You need to change to this, and if you don't, you're going to pay for it. The heck is that? I don't subscribe to something like that. People are more valuable than that. If I really want to contribute to the betterment of someone else's life, it might not mean going in and telling them everything that's absolutely important to me and my belief system. It might just be sitting down with them and having tea. It might just be going to walk to work with them. It might be doing whatever I can to be a part of their culture and their experience, and then saying, you know what? I see the need that you might have in this area. Let me talk about this and let's see if it's something that you're down for, if it's something you're looking for. The problem is it takes a lot of work. To learn an individual to know what's going to appeal to them takes a lot of work. I compare it to canvassing. You know, when you first start as a canvasser, a colporteur, literature evangelist, right? They give you a script. It's like 8 to 10 pages, all the little things that you're supposed to say for the books. The intro is typed out there. You can just memorize it. The close is there. Always Be Closing is memorized. All your drop downs, everything's just typed out on the paper perfectly there, ready to rumble. And the irony of this is, even though you're given all the books, you're given the script and you memorize what's in the script so you can sell the books. Now, in a perfect world, yeah, sure, you know, I memorized the little paragraph, I memorized the intro, I memorized the close, and everyone's going to respond to that because I said everything the right way every single time. It doesn't work like that. The same way that no two people are alike, no two canvases should be alike, especially if you want to get the biggest result out of what you're doing. If you've done door-to-door sales of any kind, you know this is true. You have general stuff that you know about a product. And the more that you study the product, the better you know it, so you don't have to necessarily stick to the script. But that's where it gets different, and that's where it gets adaptable, and that's where you get to branch out from just the cookie cutter process. Because the better I know the product, the more I'll be able to be in tune with, oh wow, this aspect of the product is something that this person can benefit from. They're telling me they need this. And the thing they're telling me is not something that's listed in the cookie cutter description. They're not going to relate to that. But because I know the product better, I happen to know this other piece of the puzzle that they would perhaps respond better to. And it takes learning on both sides. Because not only can I expect to go in there, I shouldn't expect to go in there and say, this is my cookie cutter presentation. You need to accept it exactly how it is. It's not enough. Learning that is just a step, and it's that little 10% like we're talking about here. When I went in, I thought it was the 90%, and I thought that because I memorized it to the T, and I was the first one in the program to get it all memorized perfectly. I thought because I was memorizing it to the T, then I was going to be able to sell a lot of books because I'd had it all memorized. I had it backwards. Memorizing it was the 10%. Learning to read people, learning to engage with people, learning to listen to people was the 90%. And once I started listening to them and speaking less, it became so much easier to say, well, I hear what you're saying here. This is something that relates to what you've told me. And now it matters to them. Now they have something, now they can see the value in what I'm presenting because I was willing to see the value in what they presented. There's an exchange there. And they're able to benefit and they want to help me out because there was an exchange there. Mutual benefit for both. Not me trying to go in with my cookie cutter and get a specific response every single time. It doesn't work that way. And it never has. So it's funny, you know, all that time that I spent in canvassing, and I'll have to talk about that a little bit more, the different stories, there's a lot of them. But it was really cool to revisit that and to realize, man, it's really important, especially if you have something you feel is valuable and to be shared, that for as high a value as you place on that, put the same value on the person you're trying to get it out to. Whether it's a product you're trying to sell, whether it's a spiritual belief that you have, don't just go out there and the value is all with what I'm bringing to the table. Be willing to accept that there's something valuable that you're going to receive from somebody else and look for an equal exchange. That way you can appreciate what you're getting from them and better relate to that person. And they'll be able to appreciate what they're getting from you because of that equal exchange. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. But I'm looking forward to a weekend where my mind can rest and reset. And we'll get back to this thing on Monday. So, hey, it's Noriako. We out here taking a step ahead. Trying to get 3 degrees buffer. And I'll catch y'all in the next one, all right? Peace.